Free records on the sidewalk here. I think I will grab a couple of these Johnny Mathis because he's the man.
This is indeed a disturbing universe.
Hello, greetings, and welcome. Welcome to the Stereo 999 YouTube channel. I am your host, the artist formerly known as Stereo Steve. And it's good to be here with you. It's good to be here. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being here while I talk about some music and records and stuff. No big earth-shattering concepts this time around. This is just gonna be a vinyl community record talk type video. Last week, I was out and about digging for records, and I'm just gonna show you a few of the things I found. I found a few good records, I found a few good CDs. Probably talk about the records in the first half and the CDs in the second half. So let's just get into it. All right, this first album, this is the history of the Guess Who, and it's on MGM spin-off label Pride Records. It's, if you've seen that MGM Guess Who record with the yellow cover, this is pretty much the same record, but with different cover and the songs in a different order. So it's got Shaken All Over, you know, a lot of early tracks when they were still called Chad Allen and the Expressions, kind of early garage band days of the Guess Who. You know, they do some covers, they do Tossin' and Turnin', they do the Buffalo Springfield, Flying on the Ground Is Wrong. But yeah, this is a goodie. This is a goodie. Okay, the next one. This band is called Red Eye, and it's pretty much, I don't know, maybe I'd put this in that semi-psychedelic kind of category. It's good time hippie music with a little bit of a country rock flavor, but it's good. I mean, the guitar solos go a little bit harder than you expect them to, and the songs are catchy. There's some good kind of Crosby, Stills, and Nash-esque harmonies. Reminds me a little bit of Cross Country, which I've talked about before, or Feather, which I haven't talked about before, but I probably will talk about eventually. But yeah, Red Eye. I guess the first song on here, called Games, was a minor hit. Doing a little Googling, turns out that song was in the soundtrack of the movie Kingpin with Woody Harrelson. But anyway, you know, some cheap heat. Obviously, they like the marijuanas if they're calling their band Red Eye. Okay, this is Monkey Island by Giles, aka Jay Giles Band, from 1977. Maybe their most underrated record. But there's some good songs on it. I think I Do was the hit, but the title track, it's 9 minutes long, and that's really good. And yeah, I don't know. Jay Giles Band, they kind of go in and out of popularity, you know, and this is kind of in between their early 70s blues rock heyday and their 80s kind of comeback with Love Stinks and Freeze Frame. And this is kind of in between, kind of transitional. But this is a neat record. And now for something completely different. Gary's Gang, Keep On Dancing. This is some classic disco music with some electronic sounds and some thumping beats. And you know, your booty is not going to shake itself. You need to do it at the disco. And this is another one I used to always see in bargain bins, and I still see it in bargain bins. And It's kind of funny because somebody else was talking about how the price of Blondie records are kind of going up lately. But you can still find Debbie Harry's solo album Cuckoo for like $1 if you know where to look. And it's a pretty cool record. She gets into some funk. It's got like Nile Rodgers and the guys from Chic playing on it. It's got some trippy H.R. Geiger artwork. Pretty sure that's H.R. Geiger. But yeah, you know. But this is worth checking out if you like funk and you like Debbie Harry and Blondie. All right. Once again, shifting genres. This is Noise Gate, and this is some straight up harsh noise. This is like one of the best noise records I found in a while. And if you look at the grooves, you can see there are peaks and valleys and buildups. There's like kind of atmospheric passages and then passages where it gets crazy and noisy. This track, Solar Eclipse, is amazing. And so is the second side. See, that's the one thing, like when CDs took over, one of the things that I missed about records is, you know, you can see how the song is going to build up into chaos by how shiny or thick the grooves are. The Towers of Burning. And yeah, I guess they were from Oakland. And this is on the 100 Years of Solitude label. But yeah, 1997. And you see, they were a full-on band with guitars and bass and recording samples. This is heavy. This record is a monster. Speaking of monster, Steppenwolf, Hour of the Wolf. And this is kind of reformed Steppenwolf. They got back together in the late 70s and made a few records on Epic. This is from 1975. It's got jazz fusion Tom Scott playing some sax on it. But yeah, there's only really two members, original members, John Kay, the singer, and Jerry Edmonton, the drummer. And it's got more of a guitar-heavy sound than their earlier stuff. And there is a Steppenwolf connection to this next record. And this is another one I would just always see in bargain bins, and I finally decided I'm going to grab it. This band is called Detective, and it's on Zeppelin's label, Swan Song Records. And they were kind of a super group with Michael DeBar and Michael Monarch, who was the original guitarist from Steppenwolf. Oh, there's nothing in this. And the African-American gentleman is Bobby Pickett, who was in Sugarloaf, but he's not on any of their records. He just performed with them live. And Tony Kaye, who was the original keyboardist from Yes before Rick Wakeman. So yeah, I guess they were kind of in Asia of their time. But there's some good songs. The last song, One More Heartache, is very Led Zeppelin-y. The rest of them, it's just got that 70s rock kind of vibe to it. Detective. And that's most of the cheap heat. And we can get into some of the records that actually cost a little more. Records that I actually invested in. And this is on the Giant Rock record label. And this is Nebula, Live in the Mojave Desert, Volume 2. And it was recorded on October 12th, 2020. And I've always liked this band. I was kind of stoked that they seemed to be still together and doing stuff because it was way back, way back. Um, I don't know if it was the early 2000s or whenever their first album came out. But yeah, always liked this band. Heavy three-piece rock band. You know, you hear the Blue Cheer influence, you hear the Sabbath influence, you hear the stoner rock influence. And they still got it. They're killing it on this album. This is one of those Eva records, which was a label in the 80s that reissued a lot of 60s garage rock. Eva Records out of France. And I'm pretty sure these were bootlegs, just needle dropped off of the 45s. But this is Mouse and the Traps, Public Execution. And if you remember the first Nuggets compilation, the song that obviously was in the style of Bob Dylan. This is your public execution. I'm going round. Yeah. But this is a whole album of them. I guess they only released singles. This is a whole album of them, but this is like 19 songs. And they're good. There's a lot more to them than just the kind of fake Bob Dylan shtick. Songs like Made of Sugar, Made of Spice are just garage rock bangers. And on the second side, there's some cover songs. And 13 O'Clock, Theme for Psychotics. And just a solid rock and roll record. So yeah, this Mouse and the Traps. This is a goodie. Okay. This is another one I picked up because it looked interesting. This is Sonny and the Sunliners. The album is called The Missing Link. And it's some kind of late 60s funk with a heavy Latin vibe to it. And this was a 2017 Record Store Day record that was just still sitting there because nobody bought it. And I looked it up. The original is like a $200 record. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, it's kind of short and sweet, 2-minute songs. But they're all bangers. Kind of similar to the Senior Soul record, which I have talked about before. Anyway, while I was on that flavor, I picked up another Latin record just because it was $1. And this is Chucho, Tovar, Flores doing the cumbia set. And yeah, this is some pretty cool Latin music. I don't know shit about Latin music. I knew some of these songs, some of the like traditional songs like Watermelon Heart and Guajira that Santana did on their third album. But yeah, back to the semi-psychedelic. This is Peace of Mind by The Happenings. Not Iron Maiden. But yeah, The Happenings were a very pop band. They had some middle of the road hits like I think See You in September. Kind of like the Association Birthday. They were kind of branching out into some hip psychedelic sounds that were hit at the time. And yeah, there's a few songs that are just kind of mellow jello, but there's a few songs that get a little heavier, like the first song on the second side that's kind of long. It's on the Jubilee label. And I don't know about this album cover. I guess it's like the guy's head is this like kind of geodesic dome or something. But here's the interesting thing about this album cover, though. You'll see little perforations where you can tear it open. And underneath this, there's some different artwork. But yeah, that's a pretty cool record. And then there was a stack of free records on the sidewalk, a bunch of Johnny Mathis. So grabbed a couple of those. You know, I was gonna get some Tony Bennett, but they're like $900 on Amazon now. Oh man. But anyway, this is Johnny Mathis's rendition of Me and Mrs. Jones. And he also does Summer Breeze, and he does a Righteous Brothers song, and another kind of contemporary Johnny Mathis album, Feelings, where he does 99 Miles from LA and Solitaire. Nice version of Stardust. See, I'm getting old, man. But if you saw the movie Diner, you know that Johnny Mathis is the man.
This is a holdup.
The Doberman Gang. 6 Doberman pinchers trained to commit the most incredible caper ever conceived. The Doberman Gang. 6 savage dobies with a thirst for cold cash that leaves banks bone dry. The Doberman Gang. Bonnie and Clyde, Babyface Nelson, Ma Barker, Pretty Boy Floyd, John Dillinger. They ain't in it for the dog biscuit. Hightailing it to their hideout. Who says you can't teach a new dog old tricks? Clockwork canines, trained to rip off banks with mechanical precision and rip up anybody who gets in their way. See the Doberman Gang bite the long arm of the law. The Doberman Gang. Exciting family entertainment. Rated PG.
Son of a bitch. I thought I saw a $100 bill on the sidewalk. I made a mad dash, and it's some fake copy prop money. Well, shit.
Oh yeah, that's just fine. Come on, boys, just one more time.
So yeah, I also found some CDs. This is another Noise Gate album. This is called Suspended Animation Ambient Volume 1. And like the title says, this is more of a dark ambient kind of album compared to the other Noise Gate album that was harsh noise with a little bit of a rock leaning. But yeah, this is a good one to put on, you know, if you're reading or if you're just staring at the wall, you know. This one, Jonas Reinhardt, which is actually the band name, and they were from here in the Bay Area. This is on Cranky Records, and trying to figure out what year this came out. This was 2010. 2010. And I have a couple of other Jonas Reinhardt albums that are more just kind of electronic space music. But this one goes into some prog rock territory. And I was really digging this. This is like Tangerine Dream jamming with Ozric Tentacles. This is really good. And the darkness, you know, I never bought this back in the day because I heard I believe in a thing called love like 9,000 times. But this is a good album, you know, and probably just watching Justin Hawkins on YouTube was probably what steered me towards buying this. But, you know, they were kind of written off as a joke band. But this is a solid collection of riff-heavy rock and roll. This first Darkness album, Permission to Land. And Needed some more Ahmad Jamal. I found this, The Awakening. At first, I wasn't sure what this was because this is the 80s reissue, which Impulse did these reissues with this font and with like different cover art. And turns out when I looked up the original artwork that this was one I was looking for. But yeah, we lost him just recently. One of the all-time great jazz piano players. This is really interesting. Taj Mahal, of course, the blues guy Taj Mahal, and the African kora player Tumani Diabate, which I probably pronounced wrong. Album Kulan Jan came out sometime in the 90s. But this is a really nice African music meets blues fusion kind of thing. And I really dig this. This is cool. And memories of the mid-90s San Francisco scene. The Brown Fellinis with Afro-Cubist Improvisations, Volume 9. They were a three-piece band with the great David Boyce on saxophone. One or two of the raps on here are a little bit cringy, but the music is totally solid, and this brings back memories of the Lower Haight and San Francisco and the scene here back when it used to be cool, man. Another one that brought back some memories from the late 90s, this band Papas Fritas, kind of an indie rock pop band, and this was something that got played a lot in my college radio days. The first song, Hey Hey You Say, was a crazy earworm. I thought, I probably hated this song back then, just Hey Hey You Say, but I saw this and this song was stuck in my head. I'm like, yeah, I want to hear this again. So I got this. So yeah, there you go. That's my impulse buying. Yeah. In a cold world, you need cheap heat to keep you warm.
Well, hello, boy. Now, what do you say?
Let's make with the popcorn right away.
Too much trouble and bother, yes, indeed.
No, man, heat's all you need.
You need more than heat, boy, according to Hoyle. You need popcorn, salt, butter, and oil. And a frying pan, or to be completely proper, you ought to have a popper.
I dig it you ain't hip, old man, to Easy Pop popped in its own pan.
You mean Easy Pop popped in its own pan?
Now you're swinging, Daddy. Crazy man. Why don't you make it with me to the grocery shop? We'll both take a pan of this Easy Pop. Now, give it the heat bed. That's the wildest. Easy Pop's too much, the neatest, the mildest. We'll all have a gallon in just about a minute. Popcorn, salt, and oil, and everything in it.
What do you know? No muss, no fuss. There's Easy Pop popcorn for all of us.
Easy Pop, man, that's real popcorn.
So again, thank you. Thank you for watching. If you got this far, extra thank you. If you're new here, you can like and subscribe and all that if you want. You can go watch some of my other videos because you missed them, if you just got here. My repeat viewers and recurring commenters, there is no device that can gauge how much I appreciate y'all. So thanks for being there, and I'll see you next week. Keep rocking, and peace.